Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you very much again for continuing to watch this, and I'm hoping you guys are finding value out of the content that we're sharing. So if you are finding value out of these videos, please do us a favor. If you could like, subscribe and share some of these videos and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content when we do post it. Okay, so what we're talking about today is the cost of not changing. That's the topic for today, the cost of not changing. What does that really mean, the cost of not changing? What does it cost you for not actually changing? I used to work as an apprentice in engineering, so manufacturing engineering. That's the qualification that I have. And when we started, there was this common theme that I tended to hear in warehouses that I used to work at, which is if it's not broken, then don't fix it. Okay, which was code for we like things the way they are, do not change them. Okay, now sometimes that is actually true. It's not broken, so don't fix it. Don't change anything. Don't mess things up, because this is how things constantly work. But then equally at the same time, if you're looking at the goals that you're supposed to be achieving, you ask yourself and analyze things the way that they are right now and ask yourself, is this still taking you to the goal that it's supposed to be taking you to? Is this actually driving you towards the destination that you're hoping for? Therefore, do you maybe need to improve it? Are there changes that you need to make to increase your efficiency potentially? Are there changes that you need to make to get yourself to the destination a lot quicker potentially? So these are questions that are being asked. Now, things might be running smoothly. You might be liking things that the way they are now, and therefore things are not broken. So don't fix it. Sometimes changing things is not about fixing. So the obvious thing is to look at a problem that is obvious in front of you that needs fixing. So there's a problem here, so let's provide a solution. Therefore, that's what fixing is. However, if something seems okay and can be better, that's not necessarily fixing. It's improving. And it's still a form of change. Improvement is a form of change. And this is the response that we then actually started getting from the coaches that came to help us in improving processes and improving the way things were when we got the challenge of if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I want us to talk about it today. Now, the talk today is going to be a bit more of on a business aspect, but these are things that you can sort of relate in your personal life as well. So the cost of not changing, I want us to look at it in 5 different aspects, just like we usually do. And this, again, as mentioned, is sort of like on a business aspect of it, but then look at it in your personal life as well. So the first part of it is I can't figure out how to say this word. All right. It's being obsolete. However, what's the word for obsolete? Obsolescence. I think that's how you pronounce it. Obsolescence. The first part of it is business obsolescence. Okay, the part of your business that becomes obsolete because you're not changing with the world. You're not changing with the demand of the people that you're serving. And if you stick to your guns in terms of what you've always delivered and the world is changing, you might be left behind and your business will become obsolete. And I'll give you an example of companies like Blockbuster. Okay, Blockbuster was taken over by companies like Netflix because we no longer go to shops to go hire DVDs and hire videos so we can watch at home. We subscribe to companies like Netflix, and we got movies that you can get from Prime, streaming platforms like those ones. So the concept of going to a building to go pick a DVD to say, I'm going to watch this for the weekend and give it back on a Sunday, that's no longer relevant. People don't do that anymore. But Blockbuster stayed with that business model, and then it became obsolete. Kodak did the same thing as well. I think the story was actually they were told about the fact that the world is changing, so the idea of taking pictures in their physical format is not going to be as necessary because devices are coming in and pictures are going digital. And they stuck to their guns and said, no, people will always want a physical picture of something. And they became obsolete as well. So if you're not changing with the world and the requirements of things, clients or your customers around you, then your business will become obsolete. Again, you can convert that same concept to something that you have in your personal life, right? If there is something that needs improving, and the people around you are highlighting that situation that you need to improve in a certain way, otherwise you will be left behind, potentially might be something for you to consider. Okay, so use the concept of the business to see what aspect of that can be utilized in your personal life. So, okay, that was the first part. The obsolescence part of it. What are the things that you're still doing now that will be obsolete very soon? And how will that affect the relationships around you? Okay, the second part is financial erosion. So, this again is more of a business aspect, but then there's certain things that you are paying for operationally in a business that you might not need to continue paying for, and it will erode your finances. And the way that you look at your finances as well within your business, that may change as well. So trying to identify things that can do the same thing faster and at a lot cheaper, so to speak, more cost effective. Analyzing that. Now, if you keep the concept of what I mentioned at the start to say, if it's not broken, don't fix it, then you won't see the deterioration, you won't see the financial erosion because you're not seeing an obvious problem. Okay. But if you analyze everything that you're paying for on a daily, weekly, monthly basis and see if you can identify how you can reduce your operational cost, because sometimes making money is not about increasing the income, it's also about reducing the outgoings. So if you don't analyze your outgoings, you might not be able to identify those opportunities. Your finances will erode because you're not looking at how you can improve. Okay, that's the financial erosion part. And again, that is more businessy, but you can look at it in your personal aspect. You can look at your whole life in terms of your financial side of your personal life and analyze it as if it's a business. What are the things that you're paying for? What are the things? How do you spend your funds? How do you spend your income in your household? For you personally, as a family, you can analyze that and think of it as, instead of trying to identify or find a job that gives me more income, or working on that promotion that brings me more income, I can also increase my income by reducing my outgoings. Okay, hope that makes sense. The next one is lost opportunities. Again, the cost of not changing is also losses of opportunities. If you're focused on a certain thing and you continue looking at it the way that you've always looked at it, opportunities will flow around you and will go past you because you're not actually identifying them. Changing the way that you look at things, changing the way that you operate will help you identify opportunities that go with it. So a bit of the example of Blockbuster when I mentioned before, the world is changing. The culture of the people that are around you, the customers, are changing the way that they do things. If you're sticking with the way that you've always done it, you won't identify that change. You won't identify that people are asking for something different now. So you will lose opportunities. But if you identify that change, if you identify that the people around you are changing the way that they do things, you can identify how what you currently do can be shifted to still serve people in how the world is changing. So loss of opportunity is another way that not changing can be a cost to you and your business. Cultural stagnation is the next one. The fourth one is cultural stagnation. Now, with cultural stagnation, the lack of change itself makes things stagnant. And stagnant is not necessarily a good thing because it increases demoralization. There's nothing to be excited about. There's nothing to look forward to because things are just, meh, as they say. So if things are just the same, and it's a bit like trying to listen to someone who has a monotone voice, okay? They may be giving you really important information, but it's just a monotone voice and it just keeps going and it's just stagnant and it's quite draining. It drains your energy. There's nothing that uplifts you. There's nothing to look forward to. And if your culture also does the same thing, where you are in routine and you're doing the same thing over and over again, there's no end to the same thing that you're doing. There's no visible thing that you're looking to achieve. There's nothing to look forward to or a goal that you're looking to reach, and it just becomes stagnant. that just drains people's energies. And this is the point where people start leaving your business potentially because they're not really motivated. There's nothing that they can see that playing a part to. They're not seeing the bigger goal, the bigger vision of what it is that you're looking to achieve, and things are just stagnant. Now, that's on the business side. And I think it's almost obvious on how you can see it on your personal side as well. And especially in relationships, if things become stagnant, they become boring, they become arduous, and it's not exciting anymore, and you're just going through routines and routines. You leave at a certain time in the morning, you come back at a certain time in the evening, and you follow the same routine over and over again, and you just drain the excitement out. And this is what sort of starts making the relationship go a different way, because people start looking for excitement in other ways which might not be healthy. So just keeping the culture the way it is might not be the best way. So identify the changes. Things are changing on a ongoing basis. So change with them to a certain extent and still keep the core of what it is that you believe. Hope that makes sense as well. And the last one is personal impact. Now, as I've been talking through the four that I've mentioned, I've been converting it to the personal in all aspects. But this here, as I mentioned, is going to be more businessy, but this last part is on personal. Now, I'd like you to actually try to identify in everything we've spoken about on how that affects you in a personal, and what each of those things can be converted to how that affects you in your personal life. This might be in terms of your relationships personally, or in the relationship with yourself, the relationship with what you believe in, your religion, your belief in whatever the higher power that you consider is your higher power, whoever it is, whatever it is. What's your relationship with that, and how is you not changing affecting the relationships around you, the important relationships around you, especially the relationship with yourself? How does that actually affect you? Remember, the whole concept behind this video is to do with the cost of not changing, and what we class as the opportunity cost. So you may not actually see it directly because it doesn't impact you immediately. It's just the cost of something that could have been. It's the phantom cost. So it's very easy for that to sort of slip away and not really feel like anything that you've lost, but something worth really thinking about. Okay, so that's the video for today. And hopefully you guys might have found some value out of it. And if you did, please kindly do us a favor and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of other videos that we have. Hope you have a great one, and I will speak to you soon, guys. Take care. Bye.